evening and welcome to ESPSpeaks. I'm, of course, ESP. I'm so happy to be here with you this evening. It's always a privilege to be able to sit and talk with you. Tonight, we're going to be in part 5 of our continuing series on your health and the importance of, particularly during quarantine. And before I delve in, I'd like to remind you that we are on Facebook Live right now. We're also on YouTube Live, and I'm on Periscope Live at this moment. However, if you can't sit through the whole program and you'd like to catch us a little later, you can catch us on Anchor, Breaker, Spotify, Radio Public, Google Podcast, Twitch, iHeartRadio, Stitch, Overcast, and Pocket Cast. And do keep in mind that we're on every Saturday at 6 p.m. I'm here most of the time, only when I'm on hiatus do you not see me. So I'll be here through the holidays and through the New Year's to offer you some cheer. But coming back to what we're talking about, tonight, as I said, we're going to be continuing with part 5 of our Your Health series. And we are going to talk about your foundation today. We've talked about the mind, we've been talking about the body. In the next couple of weeks, we will also be looking at the spirit. However, the one thing that holds all of these things up is your feet. We never really think about how important those 126 bones in our feet actually are and what they do to our structure. So, before I introduce you to Dr. Matt, I want to offer you some things that you might not have thought about, especially during this COVID adventure that we've been living in. And we've not been standing as firmly as we could have been. I know this sounds strange, but a lot of you have actually been sending in texts and comments to me about ESP, I bumped my foot. Do you have a podiatrist? Or should I go to an osteo doctor because it's a bone? Well, our doctor, who's here with us this evening, is going to answer all of those questions. But let's get to some of the strange things that you guys have sent me. And honestly, I didn't think about it either until I said, this really does make sense. You're not wearing shoes. You're in the house during COVID. You're not putting on your heels to run to work. You're not going out to hang out with your friends. So, ladies, we're not wearing those stylish high heel boots anymore. For the most part, all of us, children, men, and women, are walking around the house flat footed. And even when we run to the store or we run outside for a quick something or the other, we're not putting on proper shoes. I myself am not wearing sneakers. I usually shove my feet in my Uggs or flip flops, which my doctor always tells me that that's a bad thing, but they're so convenient. And we're going to talk about that too. But what you have been doing in being flat foot is you've been creating a whole different pressure on your body that you weren't expecting. Nobody was expecting. Now we have backaches, we have headaches. We're having pains in our hips. Our posture is changing. Our feet are hurting, and we don't understand why. Because you're toying with the muscles and the structure of the foot. So, now that I've set the premise as to why we're looking at our foundation today, I'm going to ask our special guest, Dr. Matthew Bristol, to chime in because he's in the waiting room. So, Matt, come on in. And we're going to start chit chatting about what's going on here. How are you there, sir?
Good. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm wonderful. It's always a pleasure. And I've told them that my doctor, which is you, always yells and screams at me about the flip flops and the Ugg slippers. So
Yes, I do.
I know you heard what I was saying in the background. And I know you have a lot to say about these things, but let's talk about the biggie. I'm going to come out the box with plantar fasciitis. Am I saying it correctly?
Yes, you are. Plantar fasciitis, which
All
is basically
right.
inflammation of the plantar fascia.
So tell us about that.
Well, inflammation of the plantar fascia is due to small tears in the plantar fascia. It's micro tears, but it can cause inflammation and swelling and pain. And usually happens due to running or standing for a long time or even gaining weight.
Mm.
Have two different foot types. You're putting more gravity on the foot, and you have a high arch or a low arch. You're still pushing down due to gravity the slight tears.
So the fact that we have no shoes on is basically why this muscle
Yes, very
is.
much.
So what can we do?
Well, I advise people to wear proper shoes, shoes that are definitely fitted well, shoes with a good arch support,
Mhm.
because those do help when you're walking barefoot. When you walk barefoot, you expose your foot to trauma, standing when you're washing dishes, constant pain. So we try to tell patients what are proper shoes to combat that.
So
And
now
rest,
proper shoes, is that sneakers or is that should I be wearing my heels that I wear to the office when I'm online in the office?
prop, proper shoes means well-fitted shoes with a good arch support. Now, most sneakers made for runners have good arch supports. The
Mm.
society has changed throughout the years that modern sneakers now have arch supports. Um, and most slippers, if you have the right design slippers, will have arch supports, which I don't recommend as much
Mhm.
because slippers can cause dry feet. Yes, flippers can cause dry feet because basically you're exposing your foot to hard surfaces and the skin has to be elastic. And in the heel area, that's where the skin loses most of its fluid or its moisture and it gets hard. So I like people to avoid slippers. I've seen many cases that way.
That's interesting that you bring up the moisture, but I don't want to take you off the path of wearing proper shoes. Were we solid in the proper shoes explanation before I go into the moisture of the feet because that's a biggie too.
Yes, proper shoes is one thing. And also sometimes you have to buy artificial arch supports inside
Ah.
because everybody's foot is made different. We don't have the
Mhm.
exact same foot. The best way is to get prescribed medicated orthotics, which the doctor would shape the orthotics towards your feet. But
Mhm.
if that's not possible, basically you could buy over-the-counter orthotics, things that work very well. Now, in my office, I sell Power Step. I find it very comfortable. Actually, with a little history, that I had heel spurts one time, and basically I was in pain. And as a doctor, of course, we're the worst patients. But I finally picked up the arch support and put it into my shoes. And then 3 days later, the pain has gone away.
Do
As well
you
as
have
doing,
an art support there?
oh, yes, I could show you
Can
right
we
now.
see it?
This arch support Power Step, which I like so well, has a good
Oh.
hard basis. This is the arch area. This you can wear inside, which you call inside your shoe. Plus, it has a heel cup on the bottom for more padding, and that would help out with your arch in many ways.
Okay, so you can buy those over the counter, but the one that you're saying that you go to the doctor and have them form fitted, why wouldn't people do that?
Because most insurance do not pay for it. It's a
Oh.
very expensive process. It has to go to a lab where they design your foot. They keep a cast of your foot for many years if you need another one. So basically it's like kind of a storage or exact type of shape of your foot. Because
Mhm.
when we make these orthotics, we cast it as your foot be in the right position. Everybody's foot's not in the right position due to hereditary, due to abuse of our feet, wearing the wrong fitted shoes, high heels, um, shoes that are flat. Those are problems that cause a foot to develop other conditions. So with the arch supports, it will slow down those conditions. It will give you more support that your foot don't have to compensate and go out of shape or cause pain when they're not necessary.
Yes,
So
'cause you're always telling me about my posture and my feet being
yeah,
when my mother used to say stand up straight, when I got to you, you always used to say make your feet stand up straight. So could you explain to the audience the importance of having a good stability in their foot, and maybe investing or having them come to you to look at the structure and how they're standing and how important that is to our bodies and how we carry ourselves and the pain
Yeah.
even that we're in.
Well, that's a very important point your mother made. It is the foundation of your total body. The foot has an ankle joint. The foot is supporting the ankle, and ankle supports the knees. Each joint is interconnected. If one joint is out of place, the other joints go out of place also. So that's why we start with the foot first, because that's where we're hitting the ground. That's our foundation. It's like the foundation of a building. A building will not stand if it doesn't have a foundation.
Mm.
So same thing with your feet. So you put your foot in the right position and basically give it nice support, it will support the ankle. And the ankle will support the knees down to the hip and even down to the back. And it's
Why is it that I heard that song that we used to sing as a kid, the foot bone connected to the side bone? As long as we don't start singing, we'll be all right. But
I
it turns out it's actually true. You're talking about all of these connected bones and so on. So I guess
yeah,
there is a science to it.
yes, we are one system. And if one system
And
goes
of
out of
course, with
whack,
the technical difficulties of the internet, I think you're
okay.
frozen. Oh, you froze for a
Okay.
minute, but we're good. Okay, now we're
Uh,
back.
Well, as I said, the foundation or our parts work together. If one is out of whack, we all go out of not in the perfect system.
Makes sense. So let's talk about, you said something about moisture when we were talking about wearing slippers and how bad that was for you to be consistently in them. People don't think about moisture when they think about feet. Well, in fact, when they do think about moisture in feet, they think about infection and the the disease, not diseases. Come on, you know the little things that grow,
Oh,
like
you took
yeast
fungal
infection
infection.
between the fungal. That's the word I
Yeah,
was looking. Thank
I
you.
understand. I understand. Fungal infection is important because basically, yes, our feet has moisture, but we also perspirate, and when in our shoes is in a dark, damp, warm area.
Mm,
And if you look through history, if you see fungal infection is actual fungal spores. And you see the fungus that grows on trees, they only grow at nighttime. That's the same type of fungus, but not exactly the same. But these are microscopic.
mm,
So the environment a fungus must have to grow is a dark, warm, moist area. And that's inside your shoe.
mhm.
So we try to tell patients to wear proper shoes. Proper shoes, wearing with socks to keep the foot breathing. And we also like patients to moisturize their feet to keep the skin elastic. And when you do put the moisturizer on your feet, don't put it between your toes, which is very important. We have many patients that put it between their toes and leave the whiteness there. That macerates. Macerates is when you wash your hands so long and it turns white. The same thing happens between the toes. It's an environment for the fungus to grow. So if it does go between toes, rub it all the way through till it's gone, and then you're in good condition. Or
Mm.
even when you wash your feet, make sure you dry between your toes. That makes a big difference also.
So now I'm speaking to, us brothers and sisters, because we like to pull out Vaseline and get rid of the ashy. But you've always told me, no, don't do that. Even when you're wearing flip flops in the summer, which you also hate, and we'll get to that. But you always tell me that you want me to have a non-oil based lotion or something. Do you recommend any particular lotion to use?
Well, there are lotions over the counter that are really good. I recommend amlactin because it has lactic acid that softens the skin and moisturizes the
Hmm.
feet. I'm also a person that believe in over the counter that like Cerva, which is really good.
Hmm.
Cerva is a type of moisturizer that's water based that does put the moisture back into the foot. We are made of water. And when we bathe our body, water does do release. And we need to moisturize to keep the skin nice and soft. And the foot is just as important as the upper body. We always
Hmm.
neglect the feet. And we always think, the foot gets the water from the trickle down, which is not true. You literally have to wash your feet and then moisturize it afterwards, replenish that moisture. Because every time we do take a shower, we come up with dry skin.
Hmm.
So it's the same thing with the feet.
Well, so most people have just such ugly and yucky feet that they don't think that they have to take care of it, but they don't realize that because they think that way and don't take care of their feet is why their feet are like that to begin with. But I want to go back one step because we briefly touched on Vaseline. Could you please tell our audience why Vaseline is not good for the feet?
Vaseline is, to me, it's oil based and it's a covering. It makes things shine, just like baby oil. When you want
Mm,
your skin to glisten, it's great to glisten the skin. But in actuality, it's blocking pores and it's putting oil in the body. When you think of oil in the body, you think of pimples, you think of other things. So you want more water base in the body, and that will make the skin soft and elastic. Because we're made of water, we're not made of oil. And
mhm.
oil and water does not go together. So think that way. So I advise patients use water-based lotion. If you want to put oil afterwards, like Vaseline on top, I have no problem with that. I just make
Mm,
sure that seals in there, the water first.
got you. Okay. So there's a couple of questions. As I said, I have a list of things that people sent in to me because you'd be surprised the strange questions I get on the website
I,
every day. And they know that I talk to doctors and do research, so they'll ask me. Um, One of the biggies, particularly with women, and I think it's called a bunion. It's that bone that sticks out and the toe kind of curves to the side. But I often tell the ladies who ask me about this, it's because of those high heel shoes that you wore when you were too young. Your foot wasn't set or structured. Can you elaborate on that? Because a lot of women ask me about the surgery, and you have always told me lean away from any type of surgery, particularly with the foot, because of the amount of bones and the time period. And you know what? It's you're the doctor. Go ahead. You talk
no,
about
I
it.
agree. I have told you not to look for surgery as a cosmetic for the bunion. First, let me start. A bunion is basically a bump in the foot at the base of your first metatarsal bone, which is the big toe. It usually happens due to ill-fitting shoes. Shoes are narrow. You're pushing your big toe towards your small little toes to fit into shoes. But a result of that is the bone at the base, that is the joint, is pushed outward to compensate you pushing your toe inward.
Mhm.
It's the ligaments and the tendons that surrounds that. That loosens up after a while, and it's basically caused the bunion to protrude outward. Now, there's no basic scientific like this is a reason why bunions happen. People have different types of foot. People have flat foot or basically high arches. People also have got overweight and basically put more gravity on there. People basically wear the wrong type of shoes. These are all causes of a bunion. And once it happened, basically surgery is the only result, but you don't need surgery if it doesn't hurt you. That's the
Mm.
main thing. Because when I tell patients about when they look at the bunion and say, oh, it's ugly, my husband will never love me, I call it the boomerang syndrome. And I said, remember the movie Boomerang? Yeah, I use that
Honey, if
concept
your
all.
husband is not going to love you because of your bunion, he didn't love you to begin with. But I digress. Go ahead.
I had a girl that cried, so she'll never get a husband. So I had to explain to her this is
Oh
not
my
the
goodness.
reason why. I know. So basically, when I talk about surgery, I feel the risk doesn't
Hmm.
outweigh the benefits because every surgery is a risk. So unless the person has severe pain and cannot function, meaning they cannot walk, they cannot stand, they can't do anything with this bunion protruding against the shoes and basically causing pain constantly, then we'll take the risk of doing the surgery. But it's not for cosmetic, it's not for beauty. It's basically a condition that you develop that's come very painful. And then we treat it that way. But
Because the
most of the time,
recovery situation with that particular surgery is sometimes more involved and more painful than the actual pain that you're
yes.
feeling. People don't realize that the healing process with regard to the foot is extremely extensive. Can you elaborate on that as
Oh,
well?
yes, because the surgery is basically a surgical fracture. We cannot put the bone back in the right position. The toe is pushed to the side towards the little toes. The only way we could put the toes back straight is literally surgically fractured take a piece of the bone out of the main bone, and we physically put it in there, and we put a screw in there to keep it straight, and that'll give the appearance of the bunion being cured. But basically, a bunion can still happen. It can reoccur again. So these are things that people think is a one-time thing; it'll never happen again. That is not true, because the way how our bodies react to
Mhm.
weight bearing, to the type of foot we have, these are the reason why it happens. And we tell patients it's basically best to leave it alone if it doesn't cause you pain. I even tell patients buy wider shoes, buy shoes that don't wear high heel shoes because that'll aggravate it more. Even their bunion pads, they
I'm
let
sorry, did you say wire shoe or
wider,
wider
wider.
shoes?
Sorry,
Okay.
I apologize. Wider, and bunion pads are good also in the sense of non-medicated bunion pads.
Hmm.
Basically, it gives a pressure that if the bone hits the side of the shoe, it's not rubbing against it, so it gives the extra relief.
Okay, for those who don't know, a bunion pad is what?
It's basically moleskin, or even it could be felt. You can find them over the counter and basically just put around the bunion area. So it's another extra skin or extra layer to prevent the irritation of the bunion.
So you attach it to the inside of the shoe or you put it
No, you
on
attach it
your
to
foot?
the foot, actual foot.
Oh, so it's like a band-aid kind of thing.
It's kind of a band-aid, but it's more a band-aid's plastic. These are more material that's softer to the skin, and it basically doesn't break down as fast.
Okay, hold on a second, because this is if you're putting this thing on your foot and you're putting it in the shoe that's causing you pain and pressure, doesn't that make more pressure in the shoe because you're adding something else in?
Not really. I said it. The main concept is wider shoes. Wider shoes.
Wider shoes.
Wider shoes give you enough room. The felt pad is so minimal. It says like an extra skin. So sometimes our feet do move inside our shoes.
Hmm.
And we want to make sure when it does move inside of it and it happens to hit the corner, there's an extra skin layer protecting that irritation of the shoe hitting the
Okay,
foot.
I get it. I get it.
Okay?
Okay, so I'm gonna read another questions. Well, actually, a statement, because these are the things that you told me the last time that I visited the office, and I wrote them down. And you laughed at me because I'm like one of your only patients that writes down what you say. Um, but one of the big things that you had on the list was drink more water, and I looked at you. You laughed at me again because I looked at you and said, "Why do I need to drink water?" And I think it was because I asked the question of gout because I didn't know. I'd heard about gout, but I didn't know what gout is. So could you tell our audience what is gout and why should we drink more water?
Okay, first off, we are made of mostly water. So water is always good for all parts of the skin, even down to the feet. So I always recommend patients to drink a lot of water. Now, gout is a different situation where we have certain foods we eat, foods that are rich, foods that have shellfish. And when people eat that, basically our body, what you call it, get waste products. That's why we go and to the bathroom to take care of the waste.
Hmm.
But uric acid is one of the wastes that basically can stay in your body. It could be due to a medical condition or to how much food you ate. And gout is basically a crystal. And the crystal is like soft. It's like think of water and ice. Ice is really crystals. So basically when it's running in the blood, it's very loose. But when it gets further from the heart, which is basically the furthest part from the heart, is down to your feet.
Hmm.
And basically, people develop gout there because when it goes further from the heart, loses the heat of your body, it turns to crystals. And that crystals are prickly. And basically, when people have gout, they tell me, listen, doctor, my foot is hot, it's swollen, it's red, I can't hardly touch it. That's a situation of gout. And we try to treat the patient with medication, even tell them to change their diet. And we even sometimes try to flush it out with an injection to try to reduce some of the pain.
So does gout only happen in feet, or is it happening throughout the whole body?
It can happen throughout the body, but the most common spot is the feet because
Okay.
the furthest from the heart.
Okay. Here's the other thing that we were talking about on my list, and because I always ask you about the cutting of the toenails. And well, you know what? Before I go into that final question that I had on my list from what you always tell me, let's talk about cutting of the toenails and who is supposed to be coming to you? Because I know I say I come to you, people are like, what the hell is wrong with her that she has to go to a podiatrist? Because most people associate a podiatrist with elderly people.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take care of the thought process that as a 50, 60, even a 40-year-old can come to you, and how often the regular everyday person should come because you're a doctor. I
Yes.
mean, I like my feet, so I want to take care of my feet, so I come see you. So let's talk about that. Let's bring you into the circle of doctors that people think
Well,
that you.
in the world today, we have people that goes to nail salons. And one of the problems I hear many times when people go to nail salons is that they develop a yellowish of the feet, a yellow marking of the feet, and which actually is a fungus, the medical term onychomycosis. And the reason they get that is because in a nail salon, most of the instruments they use in other people. I mean, I've been to nail salons and I've seen a crowd in there. It's not, and they basically the turnover is so fast that sometimes they miss a situation. And the material, the products they use and material they're using can pass along an infection from one person to the other. Because these are spores, and spores like a nice warm area, and it's wet in there. Because most of you guys go in the whirlpool, have your feet pampered and everything else, and they rub things on it. But other people have used the same thing. So I tell patients if they want to go to the nail salon, my first advice is make sure they put a plastic in the whirlpool. Also, you could bring your own instruments because you sterilize them. You're not using the instruments they just dump in a liquid and then put on your feet. So those people I do see. Also, I have patients that basically nail salons go in the corners of the nail. Now, they're not supposed to do that because the way they cut the nails, the way you should cut your nails is straight across. We tell patients don't go into the corner because it's like doing a surgical, you like doing a surgery right there because you're going towards the skin and the skin does break. And when the skin does break, you can leave a spicule in there. A spicule is like a piece of nail that will start growing. And when it grows, it can grow into your skin. And
Which
because
is an ingrown toenail.
yes, that's the beginning reason for ingrown toenails.
Okay.
And develop bacteria and they give an infection there.
All right. So we're going to take a break right there because we have to go pay some bills. I have commercials that I got to run. We're sitting with Dr. Matthew Bristol, and we're right now talking about the importance of your feet and taking care of them in the COVID time period and why. We're going to be back in a minute. This is ESP. Come on back and join us. When I'm performing, never boring. Now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier.
Hey everybody, it's Jax and I want to welcome you to the Jaxology Network. First of all, y'all. Thank you for watching. Please take a minute to subscribe my channel, like this video, and turn on the notification bell so you'll know every time I upload a new video, okay?
Oh, okay.
I am here with another review. I did do a review on the Flawless Hair Remover, and it looks like a little lipstick. It's so cute. You know, it does the job wherever you need to get rid of hair.
Do you even have hair under there?
Now, I am a fortunate chick, and thank you, Mama, for the good genes.
Oh, my dear child. Oh, welcome.
I have never had to take a razor to my legs or my arms.
Wait, what?
I don't have hair there. So showering for me is easy. I don't have to deal with all of it. But
what?
I do have to take care of the eyebrows and sometimes the upper lip. Let's just be straight. It happens.
Shit happens all the time.
So I'm watching TV the other day and I saw this. The Flawless Brows. That's right. Flawless brows. I'm like, yo. Yo, a chick needs this.
You're a very needy little bloodsucker, and it's not very attractive.
I'm gonna open it up, get it working, and I'm actually going to try and touch up my eyebrows for you and let you know how this sucker works. So let's get to it. Why not?
Sure, why not? Okay.
I just broke the box. It comes like this. The directions are right here. Comes with a brush. And thankfully a battery, because I ain't got time to go searching for no batteries. That's one thing. If you're going to sell me a product that takes a battery, even if you send me a cheap dollar store version, just give me a battery so that when I open your product, I can at least try it out really quickly and then change out to some better batteries. Okay? Installing, changing battery, whole top and bottom of unit, and pull apart to reveal the battery compartment. Okay, not as easy as it looks. There we go. The battery goes in, such as this. Pop it back on, and there it goes. It's working. It's working. This might get real up close and personal for y'all. Yes, my eyebrows have been penciled in, but I haven't gone very dark with them because I want to see the hair. Now I have this. My dogs want to cry now. I have this 10 times mirror magnification. So I'm going to try and put it here and do my eyes and let y'all see if it's actually working.
Okay, just get to the good part.
All right, here we go. Oh, wait, what? It's working. I'm not too mad at it. Not yet. It actually got these hairs really nicely. I'm trying to get in this area and around here. So let's see. See what's good. Whoa. There's a bit of a difference. Oh, yeah. See it? It's a little cleaner in here. Don't you think? I think so. Well, let's go ahead and do the other one. Let's see if I can do it. Now, I'm a bit ambidextrous.
What the hell does that mean? I don't know.
I can switch up real easy. Let's see. Now, this brow wasn't as bad as my other one for some reason. I guess they don't hang out that much together. I don't know if you can see the hair.
Oh, yeah, I can see it now.
But it really did take away, like, a lot of the stray hairs. If you're saying right now, ooh, your eyebrows ain't even, they crooked, one is long. They're sisters, they're not twins, okay? Both of my eyes are different. Both of my nostrils and my ears are different, so my eyebrows don't have to be 100% symmetrical, okay? So let me just touch this one up a little bit more. Make sure your hair is not in the way.
There is something so sweet about your hair today. I love it.
You can hear it when it's working. When it's grabbing them hairs, it's like... This thing works, you guys. I like it. I feel shaped up. Did get rid of all of the loose hairs. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's totally satisfied. What do you think?
Oh, you're so close!
You use yours on clean, dry skin. Oh, I had a little makeup on, but that's okay. It's for video purposes. I mean, what'd you want me to do? Look like a ragamuffin?
I expect nothing less than your masterpiece.
If you have problem areas, you just pull your skin tight and then work it that way. It is easy to clean. To clean it,
Watch this because I don't want to have to do it again.
turn the head counterclockwise, open it up. Be careful because that piece is really, that little piece in there, it moves about. You don't want to lose anything. Use the brush to get any hair out or just dump it out. Put it back on and you're good to go. Yo, I think it works. It is just as good as my Flawless. Now I can travel in style with my Flawless and my Flawless brows. So you need to go and pick you up one of each. Get a couple. They make great gifts for your girlfriends. I tell you, this one still works really well on my little okay. And this one, after using it one time, I do like it. Once you get your eyebrows shaped, it'll help you keep them shaped up. You might have to just kind of lightly pencil in how you want your eyebrows to be arched, or, you know, the shape that you want before you go. And if you do it that way, then you might have to clean it with a Q-tip and a little bit of alcohol just to get any of that residue off. You know, you could just start using it willy-nilly and look up and be like, oh God, I got a half a brow.
Well, I guess another one that bit the damn dust.
But I love it. I love it. I love it. Got them from Walmart. These now come in different colors. These I've only seen in this color thus far, but I'm sure they will be in other colors. When you run on a standard AA battery, it's going to last for a while. Both of these can fit in my travel bag, and I'm a happy chick because my stuff is done. I can't always get out to go get them threaded or waxed or whatever. And actually, waxing is not really good because it's pulling your skin, you know? I like this method. It's least invasive. So that is it, my dears and my darlings, for the Flawless brows. I hope that you like this video. Let me know what you think. Comment below. The dogs are now telling me what they think. Comment below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell, because with some of these products that I'm using, I will be back to give you updates. I could take it out of the box and use it the first time and it works. 3 months later, it might not be so hot. 3 months later, I might still be screaming its praises. So you don't want to miss any one of those videos. Check out jaxology.com for more reviews and other interesting stuff on my blog. And you can even buy some Jaxology gear.
Sure, why not?
Thank you so much for watching. Until the next time.
Yeah, baby.
Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, finish friends on my face. Looking like I'm from the deep.
Joining us, we're here talking about your foundation in our in segment 5 of the series, Your Body and Your Health. We're talking to Dr. Matthew Bristol. He is a podiatrist in New York. And when we left off, we were talking about the nail salons and how we need to be careful and what we need to do in nail salons to protect ourselves. So, Doc, let's jump in with that and remind me that I want to ask you about sticky feet, because you brought that up when I came to my last visit and I thought it was funny, but it's very important. So let's finish up with nail salons and then go straight into sticky feet.
Okay. Well, as I explained before about the nail salon, I do recommend patients bring their own instruments to the nail salon to protect themselves from other people infections, because fungal infections are very contagious. It's nothing means you're dirty, doesn't mean that you're a dirty person. It's just basically a fungus that is everywhere in the body. We catch it by walking barefoot. You could catch it by scraping your feet on the ground. These are things that basically microscopically you get into your foot and your toenails, because also some patients develop tenopetus, which is athlete's foot, and that's also can come from nail salon or basic life, using a public shower or a public bathroom, walking barefoot. These are the things happen.
And we do all of these things in a gym situation.
Yes.
And, you know, people don't realize how easy it is to pick up these funguses and how difficult they are to get rid of. Some people spend years trying to get rid of foot fungus, and especially the little ringworm things, because they don't come to you and they don't know, which brings me back to a previous question, because this is important. You are not a doctor that people commonly think of in their regular cycle of physicals, going to the doctors. I need to see my cardiologist. So please explain to them how important it is to come and see you and why.
But they should. Yes, you're right. They should see a podiatrist, all types of, just like a dental. You have to people have to examine your feet. You don't look at your feet every day. You put your socks on, you shower, you run out the house, and you don't think of the feet until it causes you a problem. So lots of times I see people that are normal health and they're doing a physical. I do recommend at least once a year to know the proper treatment of the feet, things that you could easily do at home to protect your feet from getting things. Okay? Also, patients that develop medical problems like diabetes, which is the most in my practice. I have a lot of patients who are diabetic. I have a lot of geriatric patients. These patients are usually seen every 3 months because as a geriatric, they can't cut their nails by themselves.
Mm.
And it's hard for them to bend over. My job is to help them. And I am very proud helping them, taking care of their bunions, which is calluses. I take care of their calluses on the bottom of their feet due to friction, and the nails especially. So those patients are very important. Diabetic patients, I basically want to explain to them, teach them how to take care of their feet. Because something simple as cutting their own nails can cause a problem. Or cutting a callus, which we call a home surgery. It's like you're doing surgery in your bathroom, which is
Hmm.
very wrong. And we tell patients don't use sharp objects on their feet. We are here to help you. We are here to make your life easier so you can function in the world today. So I do recommend see a doctor once a year for the whole body, not just your upper body, the inner part, even the outer part, which is very important.
And pregnant women, because pregnant women don't realize comes a time when you can't see your belly, but you still got to take care of your feet, and that's not the time for you to be in a nail salon and
Mhm.
pick up a foot infection. So go to your podiatrist, and then after you go to your podiatrist, you can go have your nails done. They don't
That
have to. He can take care of your feet for you in the right way. And it's very important. I just think, you're the best one ever. So I'm going to give his information so you can go see him, because like I said, ladies, he's in New York. And if you're not in New York, he can recommend other resources around the country. But whether your insurance has it or not, now most insurances do cover the visit, they just don't cover all of the medications, right?
Yes, they do. That's unfortunately the society's catching up. Most insurers will pay for routine foot care, but sometimes you need it, and we will try to work with you to make your life feel better.
Okay. So you asked me to remind you about sticky feet, and I
Uh,
also want you to talk about foot exercises, because this was a big thing. This was why I came to visit you twice in the year, because I was having problems with my calf, and you gave me a series of exercises to do before I even got out of bed. So we're
yes.
going to talk about the band. Let's talk about sticky feet first, and then we'll talk about the band for exercising.
Well, stinky feet is very simple. Something we kind of neglect. I had a young girl saying her baby feet were stinking all the time. And I laughed and explained to her that baby feet can develop bacteria. Bacteria is what causes our body to smell, especially beneath our armpits. When it gets warm and is in a dark area, basically, especially when it gets warm, the bacteria bursts and it sends an odor out. And that's what we're smelling. So I tell patients wash their feet, not with just letting the body hit the water and saying it's washed. I actually mean get an antibacterial soap and a scrub and rub the feet. And it makes a big difference. And when you dry thoroughly, even dry between the toes, it reduces the smell. Now, the young girl I told you about with her baby feet, she called and said, it worked, it worked. I'm like, it's something that we always neglect but it's very important.
But wait a minute, a baby, if her baby's feet are smelling, she's not giving the baby a bath. I mean,
Well,
I
she
can't.
gives baby
When
the
you
bath.
started talking about this, I couldn't even imagine that people don't take a washcloth and soap up their feet. Because I have a washcloth for my feet, I have a washcloth for my body, I have a washcloth for my face. I even wash them separately so no germs or anything can be cross contamination because you heat up the dryer to it, whatever. But
Okay,
I can't imagine that
overboard,
people
but
don't what no, you know
yeah,
me.
I
You know
know.
me all my life.
But
I'm
long
that person.
but the thing is, as long as you use it, because people have not. Even with the young girl, she told me she washed her child to the genital areas, the upper body, the parts that count to her. Only that hit the feet was water. So she thought the water, being the foot in the water, made a difference,
But
which
it's
did.
all connected.
Yes,
It's a
exactly.
body. You wash your whole body.
Well, I hate to say, in modern days, we do have showers. We do not want to bend. We do not want to overextend ourselves. Some people don't want to even go into a tub. So life changes, but just simple reminder, take care of
Okay.
stuff. Just like you moisturize your feet and moisturize your body, think of your feet all the time. It's a part
I
of your
don't get
body.
it. Doc, I'm sorry. You spend money. When you go get a pedicure, you can spend anywhere from 35 to $60 on a pedicure. How are you telling me that you can't get in the shower every day and wash the feet and keep the pedicure I mean, I have the pumice stone on the stick in case I don't want to bend over and come on.
Oh,
People, stop being lazy. And you know
believe.
what you know what you should tell them about, which shocked me the first time you said this to me, that because my husband had stinky feet. You said put deodorant. Would that you could tell them about that because that I
Oh,
thought that was so
I
funny.
remember because your husband foot was sweat. He was an athlete. He was basically running around in shoes, and as a business person, he wears a lot of nylon socks.
Yes,
So
I mean
basically,
we're divorced now, but not because of the stinky feet. But okay,
I understand, but I'm just saying his lifestyle. The nylon socks do not breathe, and basically, it caused the foot to sweat and smell. I do recommend patients wear cotton socks, natural fibers for it to breathe. And when your feet do sweat inside your shoe, I even tell patients put antiperspirant under
that's
there.
what I want you to tell them. Because
Yes,
I'm like, should I buy the spray deodorant? He
no,
said,
no,
yeah,
a simple
put
roll
put
on
on
the
the stick.
bottom can make a big difference. This is not something you have to do every day.
Oh my God.
This is something that basically, if you knew you're running around and your foot's in your shoes for the whole entire day, it would help it not to sweat as much.
That's hilarious. I wonder if he still does it. Actually, no, I don't. I don't care. So okay, let's the big thing because this was a big thing for me. The foot exercises in the bed with the band.
Oh,
Please
yes.
tell them about that because I think that's going to make a major difference for a lot of people.
Yes, I like to. Yes, I thank you for bringing that up. In the beginning, we talked about plantar fasciitis, and these are conditions that help the feet to hurt because of inflammation and pain.
Hmm.
And basically, I tell patients, and over-the-counter medication can help. I know a lot of people don't like taking medications, but any anti-inflammatory things like Advil, aspirin, or Aleve, those little counters I usually prescribe in a prescription form or could
Hmm.
get it over the counter. And I also will help them is exercising. One exercise which I love to tell patients is before you get out of bed, because your feet is rest. The best treatment for painful feet is rest. Okay, the best thing patient can do is rest their feet for pain. But of course, in our lifestyle, we have to move around. We have to go to the bathroom, and we're always on our feet. So I tell patients before they get out of bed, prepare your feet for that type of action. I like to tell them to do a towel pull or towel stretch. Towel pull is basically getting a towel, wrap around the ball of your feet when your foot's stretched straight out, okay? And I want the patient to pull at it for at least 10 to 15 seconds and then relax. Then do it again about 10 to 20 times. Depends how you feel. But that stretch, and I don't mean you trying to push your foot back and saying, I'm stretching it. That's not stretching. a towel pull will give that extra 2 or 3 inches, that stretch that will help give that little, get prepared that plantar fascia or all the muscle and tendons in your feet for what you're going to do, which is put your entire weight of your body onto the foundation, which is your feet. So those exercises do help. And also when you're having foot pains at home, I like to tell patients, get a water bottle, freeze it. And you remember I told you that? And
Yes.
ice, just like a rolling pin, roll your foot back and forth. That pain, the ice will reduce the inflammation, and with the rolling pin aspect will stretch the bottom too. Those 2 things can make a big difference. Now there are other exercises out there, but those are the 2 best ones I tell patients. They're simple and they're not hard to
And it feels so amazing, especially
Yes,
in the summer because you're cooling your feet, and it's
exactly.
an extra thing for cooling, especially when it's really, really hot outside because you're
Mhm.
cooling your feet. Wow. So listen, that segues me into my final question, and then
Yes.
I'm gonna let you just run free. um, Foot massages, because this is a big contention with you and I. You like the idea of foot massages, but you don't believe in reflexology, and that's where we split. So let's talk about foot massages. Well, how important is that for circulation? And should we
I
do it?
think
Should we not
very
do it?
I feel it's very relaxing. So the part of foot massage and to relax your feet, stretch the ligaments and tendons, I am all for it.
Hmm.
The other parts, reflexology, I have to admit, I'm not an expert at that. So, but I do not deny ancient medicine because they've been around for a long time. But I rather basically talk what I know about.
Hmm.
So what I do is like massages are good, as long as you moisturize lotion instead of oil. Get your husband or your boyfriend to massage your feet. It'll make you
Hmm.
feel good and relaxed. So I am all for massages, and just as long as you get it every day. If you don't do it once, but because I want you to moisturize your feet twice a day, once in the morning,
Hmm.
once at night, so to keep that moisture going. So basically, if you get them a boyfriend to a massage, I'm for it.
Sounds like a plan, and you're going to get a lot of men in trouble with that. Because they're
Well,
going to say,
men
well, Dr. Matt said
moisturize
that
too.
you have to do my feet, but you have to do that's the next thing. If he's going to do yours, you got to do his,
Oh
ladies. So,
yes,
Doc,
equal
thank
opportunity.
you. You're always a joy. Anytime I see you, anytime I hear you, anytime I get to sit and talk with you, it's always a joy. Is there anything else that you want to have the audience, take with them in this foundation journey, especially during COVID? Things that they should remember to do. Like you told me, make sure I get out and continue to walk because again, we're in lockdown and so on.
And wear
We're
your
going
shoes.
into lockdown again,
Yes.
and wearing shoes in the house. So, what other jewels of wisdom should we give them for the COVID?
Well, as I said, I think a person see a doctor at least once a year, examine their feet. But if you have any problems, do not hesitate to see a podiatrist if there's anything wrong with your feet, because even a simple callus can make a person life difficult. And we do have the tools to reduce it down and even have paddings to make it feel better to give your life. I had people come to my office walking out, said I could dance today. That's what I want. I want you to be happy, have happy feet, and a happy life.
Well, I always dance out of your office, so it's okay. I usually dance with you out of your office. So I'm going to put up your location and give you ways to connect with Dr. Matthew. And he's a joy. You're in Brooklyn and you're in Manhattan as well. But the Manhattan office is where you see patients, new
Yeah.
patients once a week. So
Well,
what's your address at the Manhattan office?
well, in Manhattan, I work at 96 East 4th Street. I'm there once a day with another doctor helping him out to
Okay.
keep patients going. It's usually a geriatric area, but the patients are very appreciative of us being there. The office I mostly work at is Brownsville Community Health Center. So
Okay.
we're a lot of patients, that are based in Brownsville, but I do see outside patients coming in and giving the help and the information they need to function in life.
Okay, so family, you got two locations, one in Manhattan, one in Brooklyn. I'm going to
Yes, the one.
connect you to both of them.
Yeah, the
Doctor,
one.
any last words for our audience? And
Yeah, I
then I'm
just
going
want
to tie
one
this
in
up because
Brooklyn
we're
is
pushing time.
259 Bristol Street. I know it's the same name as mine, but that's the best way you always can find that.
That,
And that,
exactly. That's how they remember because it's on Bristol Street. That's
yes.
terrific. Okay. Doc, once again, it's great having you with us. Hold on one second while I do some more business here. Guys, remember this is ESP Speaks. We're on Facebook Live now. We're on YouTube. Please like, click the bell, subscribe, give us a comment. Give us a comment on Facebook at ESP Speaks. Or if you want, give us a comment at YouTube at ESP Speaks. Check out that channel. And we're also on Instagram. We're on Twitter now. So you can rewatch the show just by clicking. I mean, we're on 9 platforms. We're on Anchor, Breaker, Spotify, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Twitch, Stitch, iHeartRadio, Overcast, Pocket Cast. And keep in mind that we're on every Saturday at 6 p.m. I love to see you here. Thank you so much. Doc, thanks again. We're going to see
Welcome.
you next time. Next week, we're going to start the final part of the series. We're going to speak to Dr. Carl Nicolò, which is a general practitioner. It's going to tie everybody up. Then after that, we're going to move off of the body and move into spirit. So we're going to start talking about meditation and crystals. And we're actually going to go into a religious kind of connection to spirituality as well. So I'm covering all parts of your body. I look forward to it as we're moving into the season where we're more interact or normally interactive with our families. We don't have that because of COVID. I'm just trying to create these pieces so we can look at our spiritual and physical selves and just be better people and not be in a depression and funk. And on that note, once again, this is ESP. I'm about to sign off, and you know what I'm going to say. You should know by now. Be positive, test negative. We'll see you next time on ESP. Have a good one.